AITA for telling my son he deserved his GF breaking up with him. So my son had a long-distance GF recently for about 2 years. She was great, a really nice girl, and we all loved her, welcomed her with open arms. She was flying here constantly to visit him, like a weekend a month, and he didn't lift a finger to go visit her. I tried talking to him about it several times and told him he should really start looking into flying over to her instead of expecting her to do all the traveling. He said no, and my wife probably had something to do with it, as she constantly told him she was afraid of him flying. I spoke to them both and said this girl is great for him. She was willing to move over to our country too, but said there was one condition, and that was he'd have to fly over to her country too, which is fair enough. He said no, he didn't want to fly or travel anywhere. My son was becoming lazier and lazier, eventually telling his GF and us that he was perfectly fine never traveling anywhere, including holidays, etc. Last week, he told us she stumped him. I went on her FB page, as we all still friends. She wrote us an apology letter about how she's upset it didn't work out, but these things happen. So we on good terms, and looks like she's with a new guy already. Me and my wife have no doubt she was seeing him whilst still in a relationship with my son. I confessed to them both that I actually agree with her decision and he should have expected it. He did not treat her properly, and I hope he learns lessons for the next one, because he needs to make more of an effort. I said he deserves it for his lack of effort in the relationship and for essentially just allowing this girl to spend all her money and time coming here all the time. Wife and son are very upset that I said this. Very upset, and my wife says I am being horrible. AITA, I stand by what I said. It's a truth he needs to hear. I am more concerned about the reaction of your wife. Does she enable your son's laziness? Yes lol. He's a proper mummy's boy. I want him to just grow up TBF. He's 24 now. Please listen to me. My best friend since elementary school is your son, and the sad truth is that he has sunken into a deep hole because his parents enabled his laziness for so many years. He was never pushed, never faced risks, never was disturbed from his zone of comfort, and now he is fiercely defensive about that comfort, and it's ruined so many friendships. Unsurprisingly, he has sunk into a deep depression, which only makes it harder for him to turn his life around. He had such a bright future when we were kids, smart and an absolute joy to be around, curious about science and able to be friends with anyone. But when it came time to be challenged or take risks, his parents shielded him from any responsibility. And now he is frozen with no sign of breaking free. And he has been too lazy with the relationship anyway. The girl deserves someone better, and your son needs to know that it takes effort to make a relationship work. And that's the truth. What age is he? You say he is 24 in another comment. Definitely not the owl. If he is this lazy and has no plans to travel, what's his plan for leaving the house? Living with parents is great to save money, but he does not seem the type so far to actually get up and get out eventually. And your son needs to learn that relationships are about give and take. He cannot do all the taking, and if you needed to be the one pointing it out, then so be it. The way I heard it put by a guy I consider to be wise is that in a relationship, both need to give 100. If either gives anything less than that, you are just setting yourself up for failure. A similar way I've heard it is both partners should each make an effort to carry 60 of the relationship instead of being content with doing their 50. That way total combined effort is 120 instead of just 100. This seems incredibly odd. Your son wasn't even willing to fly to see her, even when she said she'd only move if he visited her. Are you sure there's not some other reason he does not want to fly? It might just be me, but it seems quite strange for someone to turn down a holiday and seeing their girlfriend of 2 years just because. He said he's scared of flying because he's never flown before. Doesn't even have a passport, but I told him he's got to get over the fear. Flying is very safe, etc. But nothing worked, and even though I linked him a lot articles, videos and stuff, he just doesn't listen. So that's why he never flew. And like I said, my wife, his mom, is very scared too, and I think was just provoking fear in him over it. Are they afraid that the plane will crash? Because if so, by their logic, the girl has risked her life countless times to be with him. Why would it be okay for her to fly, but he would not risk his life for her? He didn't dare to fly for her. Why would he think he deserve to be with her for the rest of his life? If your son has never flown and your wife is so scared of flying, that means you have never been able to fly somewhere for holidays as a family at all. Your wife should work on her fears because it's clear that her fear has affected your son's life and probably your life as well. I agree with everything that's being said, but I wanted to say that fear of flying isn't always fear of crashing. Flying can be a very unpleasant experience if you are claustrophobic, for example. So, someone might think that flying is very safe while still being afraid of it. Part of your job as a father, I am one myself, is to educate your son. It does him no favors to coddle him over stupidity like his mother wants to do. Rather, you are there to help him learn lessons. Sometimes that requires being harsh. Don't be any harsher than you need to be. But do your job, Dad. I have a feeling she tried really hard to get him to work harder on the relationship while this other guy was starting to show interest. Doesn't necessarily mean she was cheating, but he could have helped sway her to leave your son, rightfully so. Because, well, if your son wasn't going to try, then she deserves to leave for someone who's willing to try for her. I get why your wife would be upset. You mentioned he's a mama's boy, so she'll want to defend him to the end because she coddles him to death. But TBF, your son needs a dose of reality. He's 24, he can't keep living in his bubble where he never does anything wrong or that he doesn't deserve some of the things that'll get thrown his way. Your wife needs to stop the coddling. Boy needs reality. Thank you for saying this. Everyone is saying she is cheating and it struck a nerve with me. I have been in a relationship with a very lazy, self-centered person. He was friendly and nice enough, but did never put in any real effort. I of course saw this too late and we had been living together and everything, but when I finally stood up for myself I gave him 6 months to do his part, arrange therapy for us together, for himself, put in an effort. During this time I got a new job to support his butt in college which he was flunking. There was a guy who immediately took an interest in me. He was the one teaching me the job. He invited me at the group table at lunch. When he was flirting I told him to stop because I was in a relationship, but my ex did nothing those months, and the other guy clearly was putting in effort. I never saw him outside of work, but he was making it very clear he was into me. So when lazy ex was surprised because I dumped him after those 6 months, things moved fast with new guy. Very fast. Within a year we were married and had a baby. Now we're around 8 or 9 years together and have 3 kids. I was accused by ex of cheating. He even called my parents to tell them, and he said I wasn't putting in the effort because I dumped him and didn't even had couples therapy with him. When I reminded him that he had 6 months to arrange that, he was just starting to accuse me of something else. Very nasty, but whatever. I am happy now. Our marriage isn't perfect but we talk and both put in effort. No counseling needed because we listen to each other. I never cheated, but those 6 months seeing him doing nothing to fight for us, it isn't black and white. So he is 24 and has no plans of traveling ever. That means he just expects that any holiday plans or family events revolve only around his family. That's not just lazy, that's being terribly inconsiderate of his partner's feelings and wants. Relationships involve communication and compromise, and if he cannot do those things it's going to be difficult for him to maintain a healthy relationship. You're not wrong for pointing that out. There's always other dating options for him, and maybe he just needs a bit of a confidence boost or to look for a partner closer to home who has similar interests. But you may also want to talk to your wife about being a helicopter parent to a 24-year-old man he is not going to be able to grow if she would not let him. But a sticky situation. Your son was in the wrong and he needed to hear it, but because he is your son I can see why your wife would be mad at you for saying that. If you said it bluntly it could sound cold and mean, but if you had a nice talk with your son and communicate better it would work. For telling him when he is being stupid, you could start off in a supporting manner saying stuff like there are other fish in the sea yada yada and then tell him that he could have been a better boyfriend. I wasn't entirely awful towards him, We did have a nice chat and I did help him feel better, but I also wanted him to know the truth because I want him to be in a happy relationship one day. So I want him to be a better boyfriend. My brother was in a similar situation with his first relationship. Not so much about visiting, but just a general lack of effort. The girl would come over and my brother would not even change out of his PJs and would just be napping all the time while girlfriend was studying, etc. Anyways, when she dumped him, my mom had a talk with my brother and basically told him that he had it coming. He took it well and reflected on his behavior, etc. Your son needed to hear it. NTA. Ugh. My brother is the same way. He dated some absolutely wonderful girls, way out of his league. They were cute, smart, funny and ambitious. He took them for granted and treated them like poop. He'd say misogynistic things because he thought it was funny to watch them get worked up. Yeah, they didn't stick around. Finally he found an insecure woman who shares his vision that his wants and needs are the most important thing in the world. She waits on him hand and foot. They have more of a mommy-son relationship. She is 10 years older than him and I personally find her annoying AF. She is nice and everything. She is just not very smart or interesting. She likes to talk in baby voices which just grates on my nerves. He is happy with her since she kisses his butt, so I guess it's worked out well for him. He has turned into a bigger jerk over the years. Everything is his way or the highway. I think it's partially because his wife is a doormat. I do not really blame her though. He is responsible for his own character. Just because she tolerates his old behavior does not mean it's okay to be a selfish idiot. I am sad because just a little bit of compassion on his part and I did have a decent brother, and maybe even a sil I enjoyed spending time with. I hope it's not too late for your brother. I've given up hope on mine. NTA. You being a good father. If more fathers told their sons when they were being assholes, the rest of humanity would greatly appreciate it. NTA. Good parenting is about making sure your kids learn and grow getting their mistakes. I remember with my first girlfriend, my mom got on me about things I did wrong or could do better. Didn't like being at the time, but I am better for it now. NTA. Baby boy got coddled way too much by Big Mama. The mom is an enabler and fails to see the wrongs. You're not in butt face for wanting your kid to grow up and be a better person. You did the right thing. Definitely. NTA. People hear the truth sometimes, but there is a proper way to deliver hard truth. It didn't sound like you were too harsh or unnecessarily cruel. You just delivered the truth. Holy cow. So I think I am this girl. I met a guy from work and we got to talking as co-workers initially and we simply clicked. Nothing happened between us whatsoever. We just had all the same interests and quirks and we surprised each other. I realized we were connecting more than just friends and to a very deep level. Immediately, once I realized that after 3 days of talking to him, and reflecting on my unhappiness in my current relationship, I called it off with the guy I was seeing long distance. It felt like I was settling for a man who didn't put effort to come see me when I constantly did for him, and he makes double my salary. I had to give up traveling to see friends and organize my savings to see someone who didn't care for my presence or effort I put into the relationship. I had communicated I was unhappy with his lack of effort, to be honest, and it was slowly wearing down on me for the last few months. I felt horrendous since I did meet his family and friends. They were wonderful people and I had hopes and dreams of maybe one day living in that town to help further my career and start a life with him. NTA. This is literally your job as a parent. Good job, op. Your son needs to grow up. NTA. Telling someone what they want to hear isn't going to get them anywhere or help them grow. I am happy she found someone who appreciates her. Maybe now your son will realize what he lost and try to treat his next GF better. Ask your wife how would she have felt if the roles were in reverse, or better yet, if you had treated her that way. How long did you wait before saying this? Even if someone is wrong and could use some harsh perspective, you should probably give them a couple weeks before you hit them with your opinion on how their breakup was their own fault. NTA. Truth sucks, but maybe it'll be motivation for him to actually put in some effort next time. I do not blame her. If he can't meet an amazing girl halfway, he didn't deserve her. He needs to grow the F up. Auntie A, it's the truth. It's your job as a parent to identify teaching opportunities and reveal those to your children in the hopes that they will grow from them. Auntie A, this is your job as a parent. You need to teach your son and be honest with him so he does not make the same mistakes in the future. Your wife is doing him a disservice by coddling him. 100 Auntie A, if he isn't willing to make the effort to spend time with her, she deserves better. A relationship should go both ways. Auntie A, you are being realistic. Hopefully he learns his lesson about how to treat his girlfriends from now on. I am not saying he needs to bow to their every whim, but he needs to at least try to compromise on things. From what you've said, he obviously didn't care to, so he got what he deserved. Auntie A, especially after seeing some of the comments between Op and everyone. The truth hurts, but need to be heard. If it relates to being a bad romantic partner, it's either learn or be miserable or end up someone who has no self-respect, cause that's all you could get being a jerk. It sounds like Op gave their 24-year-old son some great advice, some tough loving with kindness and good intentions. You might want to have a convo with mom-wife about where this baby of a 24-year-old is going in terms of his personality. Lazy is a tough quality to have and snag a great partner. Not taking post literally, son, it sucks he wasn't going to visit her, but that's not an end of itself a butt-faced thing. Plenty of relationships like that work out and it's incompatibility more than butt-faced behavior. Her without proof she was cheating, dating someone immediately after isn't a move. In fact, ending a relationship because you are starting to feel interested in someone else is the opposite of a move. Maybe your timing wasn't the best, but it's something he needs to understand and it needed to be said if he was genuinely clueless. Your wife, it's normal to want to defend your child's feelings and her opinion on your timing seems like it differs from yours. Your wife kind of sucks for teaching him to be scared of flying, but that's not really the topic in question. Was he the ideal boyfriend for her? No. Could he have done more? Yes. Does that make him a buttface? Not necessarily. Her without proof she was cheating, dating someone immediately after isn't a move. In fact, ending a relationship because you are starting to feel interested in someone else is the opposite of a move. Thank you. I am getting so angry with everyone saying she is a cheating buttface, when it absolutely sounds like she did exactly what she was supposed to do to not cheat. If she did cheat, then FCK that, but the only proof is that she started a new relationship immediately after. Auntie A, you were trying to explain to him how to be a decent human being and he didn't want to listen. Auntie A, my ex's parents would tell him exactly this constantly and he never listened. I waited one final year to see if he actually would try after being with him for 12 years. He didn't change, so I left on great terms with his family. I miss them the most, and they love my new little family. Your son's ex deserves to be happy with someone who adores her. Auntie A, I was in a similar situation almost 10 years ago. Amazing girl. Family didn't believe she was real until she first came to visit and fell in love with her. Made tons of attempts to come here from England despite how expensive it was. I didn't want to even go there, let alone move there if I had to. She dumped me and I was heartbroken, but I am pretty sure she was seeing another guy towards the end and I do not blame her. Your son needs a wake-up call and hopefully this will be of some help to motivate him. Auntie A, you gotta sacrifice a little to get a little, and this is his fault, and it sounds like his mother's fault. He should have manned up and flown out to see her. She sounded committed and she sounded like she was getting along with everyone. He just effed up. Auntie A, so proud that you take it too hard to teach your son respect and fairness. You said the truth, and everybody knows deep down that you're right.